Good evening, my dear students. This is Mrs. Sohir Zaki, and we are going to explain our third unit in our science curriculum for Prep 2 students' second term. Let's start our session for today. In our session today, we are going to start the third unit in our science curriculum with the title of Reproduction in Living Organisms. Our first lesson in our third unit is the floral reproduction. Let's start by our lesson objectives. By the end of our lesson, you will be able to identify the life cycle of flowering plants, identify the structure of a typical flower. Also, by the end of our lesson, you will be able to explain the functions of floral whorls, distinguish between the processes of pollination and fertilization in the flowers. Also, you will be able to differentiate between self-pollination and cross-pollination. Identify the different means of pollen grain transfer. In our lesson also, and by the end of this lesson, you will be able to compare the characteristics of wind-pollinated flowers and those pollinated by insects. We are going to start explaining our lesson by this short introduction. This figure shows a flower, and our lesson explores the ideas that help you answer these questions. The first question: what are the green and the red leaves, and what is their importance to the flower? Does the flower contain structures other than these leaves, the green leaves and the red leaves? Is there any other structures inside the flower? What is meant by floral reproduction? This is the title of our lesson. What is meant by the floral reproduction? And what is meant by pollination? And what are its methods? How does sexual reproduction take place in the flower? Flowering plants are one of the most widespread plants in different environments around the world. They are also the most important plants to humans since humans depend on them as food. Flowering plants ensure the continuity of their species through sexual reproduction, which take place in the flower. In our lesson, we are going to recognize the different parts of the flower, and we are going to understand how the sexual reproduction takes place through the flower. At the first, let's begin by the origin of the flowers. The flower develops from a vegetative bud that undergoes modification to perform a reproductive function. It usually arises from axil of a leaf known as a bracket. This is the bracket, and this is our flower that developed from the vegetative pot and modified to allow the production process to take place. In some plants, a part of stem bears a cluster, which means a group of flowers. This group of flowers called an inflorescence, and the stem part that carries it's known as the peduncle. So the inflorescence are a cluster of flowers or a group of flowers on the same stem. Inflorescence vary in shape, including different types, and now we are going to recognize the different types of inflorescence. The first type is the simple raceme. Some inflorescences have a long main peduncle. This is the long main peduncle that continues to grow, bearing flowers on all sides. Each flower is carried on small stalk. This is the small stalks of the flower, giving the inflorescence a shape similar to a cluster of grapes. So, in this case, the inflorescence similar in shape to the cluster of grapes, it's called simple raceme and includes a main peduncle, long main peduncle that continues to grow and the flowers bearing from all sides, each flower carried on a small stalk giving this shape. The flowers open sequentially from the bottom where the older flowers are found at the bottom toward the top, and the younger flowers develop. Examples include snapdragon and stock flowers. The second type of inflorescence is called simple corymb. Other inflorescence possesses a short main peduncle that stops growing after producing a number of flowers, which arise only from the sides of the axis as shown in our figure. In simple corymb, it gives the inflorescence a comb-like shape. This is like the comb. So this inflorescence gives a comb-like shape. The flowers open from outside, which are the oldest flower, to the center, which are the youngest flowers. All flowers are found at nearly the same level, as you can see here in the figure. Examples of the simple corymb include cherry and cypress, candy tuft. The third type of inflorescence is the simple umbel. In other type of inflorescence, all flowers arise from a single point at the tip of the peduncle, forming a structure that resembles the umbrella or the tent, like here in figure 4. The older flowers are on the outside and the youngest flower are in the center, and their pedicels are equal in length, as you can see here in the figure. Examples including garlic and onion. Now let's learn about the flower structure. The flower is the organ of sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. It represents a short stem whose leaves are modified to perform the reproductive function. To know more about the flower structure, let's do this activity. Observe and explore. From figure 5 to figure 7, all these figures illustrate the flower whorls of 3 different flowers. Now, what are the 2 common floral whorls existing in the 3 flowers? Let's explore the 3 flowers. In figure 5, we have calyx, stamen, and corolla. In figure 6, we have calyx, stamen, carpel, and corolla. In figure 7, we have calyx, carpel, and corolla. So in the 3 figures we have 2 common floral whorls. They are the calyx and the corolla. Now by observing figure 5 and figure 6, what part of the flower, which role of the flower is present in figure 6 but absent in figure 5? Let's try to observe both of the 2 figures and explore what the role that is missing in figure 5 but exists in figure 6. Yes, of course, it's the carpel. Now try to explore the difference between figure 6 and figure 7 and try to answer this question. Which floral whorl is present in the flower shown in figure 6 but absent in the flower shown in figure 7? What is the part that is missing here in figure 7 but exists in figure 6? Yes, of course, this part is the stamen. Stamen exists only in figure 6, but it's missing in figure 7. The flower consists of a slender stalk called the pedicel, which ends in a swollen part known as the receptacle. The receptacle bears the floral leaves, which are arranged in groups called the floral whorls. We are going in the coming part of our session to recognize each of these floral whorls, describing each of them, and determine the function of each of them. Let's start by showing the structure of the flower and learn more about it. A flower that contains the 4 whorls, which are the calyx, this is the calyx, the corolla, the stamens, and the pistil, is known as typical flower. So the typical flower contains four distinct floral whorls. What are the names of these whorls? Calyx, corolla, stamen, and pistil. So in this case, the flower is called typical flower. The first whorl of the flower from outside is called the calyx. And the calyx is composed of the short green leaves. Each one of them is called sepal, whose number varies from one type of flowers to another. So they don't have fixed number but varies according to the kind of the flower. Sepals may be separate. It means that they are not attached to each other. As in rose, you can see here rose flower has sepals that are separated from each other. And they may be fused like in the petunia flower in figure 10. So we have two cases of sepals. They may be separated like in rose flower or fused together as in petunia. The primary function, and this is very important to know the function of each part of the flower, the primary function of the calyx is to protect the inner parts of the flower, especially before pluming. The second whorl of the flower is the corolla, and the corolla lies internal to the calyx and consists of delicate white or colored leaves called petals. So each one of these is a petal. Petals are often fragrant, helping to attract insects that assist in the process of floral reproduction. So they have a good smell. Fragrant means that they have a distinguished odor to attract insects and allow the floral reproduction. The number of petals usually equals the number of sepals and alternates with them in position. Petals may be also fused and arranged in a single whorl, as in the case of this figure. It's the petunia petals. They are fused and arranged in one whorl. Some other cases, the corolla may be separate and arranged in several whorls, as in case of the Egyptian rose flower, as you can see it in figure 12. So in case of Egyptian rose petals, they are separated and arranged in several whorls. Now, what is the corolla function? The corolla function is protecting the reproductive organs of the flower and attracting pollinating insects that play a vital role in completing the sexual flower. So there are two functions for the corolla. It protects the reproductive organs inside the flower and also attracts the insects that allow pollination process to take place. In some flowers, such as daffodil, sepals cannot be distinguished from petals, like here in this figure, based on color or appearance. In these flowers, the calyx and the corolla are collectively referred to as bryanths. So in this type of flower, calyx and corolla are collectively called bryanths. In contrast, some flowers lack both sepals and petals and are therefore known as naked flower. So, naked flower, example as willow flowers, like here in figure 14. In this part of our session, we are going to learn how flowers and the science of flowers can be integrated with the medical science. Flowers have many medical benefits because they contain antioxidants and volatile oils. Let's start by the first example. The first example includes the chamomile flower. The chamomile flower used to calm the nervous system. This is the chamomile flower. It's one of the flowers that is used in calming the nervous system. Our second example is the hibiscus flower. This is the hibiscus flower and it helps lower high blood pressure. So the hibiscus flower used to lower the high blood pressure. Our third example for the flowers that have medical benefits is the lavender flowers. The lavender flowers are used to relieve muscle pain and headache. So we have here 3 examples. Each of them has benefit because this flower contains antioxidants and volatile oils that have medical effect. Entrepreneurship. Some villages in Fayoum Governorate are well known for cultivating roses, whose petals are used in the production of rose water and rose oil. You can use this information to work with your classmates to propose ideas for developing these industries and promoting them in global markets. So this is an idea that you can use and work on it with your classmates and give new ideas how to develop these industries and promote the industry of cultivating roses and using the rose water and rose oil in global markets. Now let's return back to the structure of the flower and go to the third role in the typical flower, which are the stamens. The stamens are the male organ of the flower. It lies just inside the corolla and consists of several modified leaves called stamens. This is the shape of the stamen. Each stamen is made of a thin filament. This is the filament that ends by a swollen structure called the anther. So the stamen consists of filament and anther. Now, what is the function of stamen? The anther typically consists of two lobes, each containing two pollen sacs filled with tiny grains. These grains are the pollen grains, and the pollen grains are the male cells in the flower. The fourth rule of the flower is the female organ. It's located in the center of the flower and consists of one or more leaves called carpel. This is the shape of the carpel, collectively forming the pistil, which resembles a flask in shape. Like you can see here in figure 19, the carpel like the flask in shape. Each carpel includes a swollen base called the ovary. This is the ovary of the carpel, connected to a slender tube known as the style. This part is called the style, which ends by a sticky surface called the stigma. So, the pistil or the carpel consists of three parts: ovary, style, and stigma. Now let's learn about the sex of the flower. A typical flower is described as bisexual flower because it contains both male and female reproductive organs. Such flowers are known as bisexual flowers and are symbolized by this symbol. This is the symbol of bisexual flowers, as seen in tomato and eggplant flowers. So in this flower, we have the male part and the female part of the flower. In some flowers, we will have only gynoecium without the stamens and are therefore classified as female flower. In this flower, we can see the carpel or the pistil only, which is called gynoecium, and it's the female part of the flower. There is no stamens here, and so this flower is a female flower, and this is the symbol of the female flower. In other cases, we have only stamens without the pistil and are classified as male flower, and the male flower symbolized by this symbol. The sex of the flower. Male and female flowers are known as unisexual flowers. Examples include palm, maize is the corn also, and pumpkin flowers. They are all unisexual flowers. Protective awareness. Hay fever is a kind of inflammation caused by an immune response to harmless substance such as pollen grains. Its symptoms include frequent sneezing and watery eyes. The condition can be reduced by avoiding areas where pollen concentrations are high. Information and communication technology. Accurate information about regions having elevated pollen grain levels can be obtained through specialized applications such as pollen.com. Now let's try to evaluate our understanding for the different parts of the flower and solve this question. Replace the numbers shown in the following figure with the appropriate labels. Let's start by number 1. Number 1 is the calyx part, and each leaf is called the sepal. Number 2. Number 2 is the corolla, in which each leaf is called the petal. Number 3. Number 3 is the anther, which is part of the stamen in which the pollen grains are formed. Number 4. Number 4 is the sticky top part of the pistil, and it's called stigma. Number 5. Number 5 is the style, which is the second part of the pistil. Number 6 is called the filament, which is the second part of the stamen, as the stamen consists of a filament and anther. Number 7 is the swollen part of the pistil, and it's called the ovary, in which the ovules are formed. So the pistil consists of the ovary, style, and stigma. Finally, number 8. Number 8 is the swollen part at the base of the flower, and it's called receptacle. So these are the different parts of the flower as we have studied today. This was the last slide in our session today. See you next session, inshallah, dear students. This is Mrs. Suhair Zaki, and this session under the supervision of the Science Consultant Office of Ministry of Education, and this is the live stream of Ministry of Education. See you next session, inshallah.